Actually, so much, right? And so much I didn't say. Forbes list, LinkedIn top voices, Black enterprise, just so many things. But just take us to that moment, right? Walking away from a $300,000 a year job, which for a lot of people watching this, they're like, "You made it, right? Like you made it." Talk to us about faith and how is faith connected with that entrepreneurial step that you made?
I think, to be honest, I think it was more about discomfort because
Mhm.
I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I would have been a millionaire in my day job. The lowest paid partner at my first firm made 1.2 million at the time. So I was never worried about making money in my job. I just assumed I'd be a millionaire. I didn't even think about it as like something that was off in the future because I interacted with so many people who made millions of dollars every day as partners at a law firm. So it wasn't like I was discontent. I only became an entrepreneur because I really hate injustice. So my pro bono practice was civil rights law at Kirkland. So I was going and representing prisoners who basically were Black men who were being disadvantaged and treated bad by white prison guards by and large. And so I did that on the side. My husband did not like it. He was like, "Why are you doing this?" But I just have always hated injustice. And so because I was the only Black woman, and because the people who were treating me unfairly happened to not be Black, I just wasn't down for that. Like if my boss at the time probably would have just treated me well, I probably would be a partner right now. Like all of my colleagues, they made partner, right? And so that was what I thought for myself. So it was more like this discontentment. Now, what I believe is that God uniquely and divinely gives us things that make us mad, that make us uncomfortable, that he knows will make us move. And I think that like him knowing my personality, him knowing what I will and won't deal with, if I would have still stayed at Kirkland, he knew that it would have taken $100,000 for me to move. So I got that big salary. He knew that that lady could not treat me right. So she treated me unjustly, even though she was recruiting me for 3 years before this. Like every day out of law school, I got a job offer from her like every year. So like I think it was divine in that God knows me so well that he knew he wanted me to help all these people through this company. And the only way I would do it is if I got uncomfortable because things that mattered to me, frankly, I liked the status that came with working at that firm. I liked the money. I liked how I got paid every 2 weeks. I did not want to be a strugglepreneur. And that is how I saw entrepreneurship as like this struggle.
Mhm.
So divinely, I think God made me uncomfortable. And then even after I left the job, I rarely ever tell this part of the story. But when I left, I did not originally leave to start a business. I left and tried to get another job and I couldn't. And it didn't make any sense because there's so few lawyers. I went to Northwestern Law, cum laude. I'm a Black woman. I'm not saying everything's affirmative action, but I am saying like you go to Northwestern Law, you're a Black woman, you come from Kirkland, you should be able to write your ticket anywhere. And I had a great reputation in the industry. And I was on like Crane Chicago Business. I won all these awards, but I could not get a job anywhere. So I prayed this prayer that was like, God, I want a job that's custom made for me. And I really thought that that was going to be at another firm. And after I kept getting declined from firms that were just nowhere near the caliber of the firms that I worked at, I was like, what is happening here? And I literally heard God say, like, you have to make it. Like, you want a job custom made for you, you got to make it. And that was when I decided, okay, this is not going to work. I'm going to have to start my own law firm. So it was divine in that way. I feel like I always pray what I tell my husband that these are like dangerous prayers, but I'm always like, okay, God, well, if you want me to do that, you have to remove every opportunity. And he'd be like, done. like so many times when I've had to make a shift, I will pray a dangerous prayer just so that I'm clear about what my next move should be when I'm making a big pivot like that. But I wasn't really afraid. I was more so discontent with where I was at. And I think I just came to a point where I'm like, I can't rely on racist systems to provide for my family. Like if
Mhm.
I'm going to do that, that's way more dangerous than me starting my own firm. And I knew because before law, I worked in sales. So I knew that I could pick up a phone, call people, ask people to do business with me. I knew that I could do direct outreach. I have experience doing that. I understood digital marketing. I was a digital marketing consultant before law school as well. So I knew that. And I had gotten business before as an entrepreneur, just not a lot. I was a strugglepreneur before this business. Like I had done stuff, it didn't quite work. I got clients, but like not consistently, but I knew that I could make some money. And so that fueled with my discontentment. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to do it. And then I just got really excited by the idea, and that excitement kind of made me start and put it out there. And I remember making a post on LinkedIn, like, I'm leaving my job, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's comment was like, ooh, that's brave.